Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a new story. And this is the story of my beloved uncle Orlando Fabiano. And this story has been written by my favorite American cousin, Antonietta. She wrote a book in which it's a kind of a autobiography and she tells the story of a family, and one of the chapter is dedicated to her father, Orlando Fabiano, and this is the story she, was so kind to share with me. My father. My father, born July 15, 1924, had striking sky blue eyes and chiseled good looks. He was born in a countryside called Visconte in Catanzaro County, Italy, South Italy, where he lived with his three sisters. Tragically, his favorite sister, Emilia, who was my mother, passed away at 30 years old on March 3, 1951, due to appendicitis. She was the oldest child and was remembered as tall and a beautiful blonde. Giuseppe, my favorite cousin, born April 10, 1946, resides in Milan, Italy, and is Emilia's son. Staying in touch with him has been invaluable for me, as he helps fill in the missing pieces of my dad's life. His memory are treasures that I sincerely appreciate. I grew up in a family that kept an aspect of their lives private, which has left me yearning more inside. It's frustrating for someone like me who genuinely wants to understand my family's history. Giuseppe vividly remembers the heart-wrenching experience of standing before his mother's grave, taken far too soon. The sight of their grandmother consumed by sorrow is etched in Giuseppe's mind forever. There is no greater tragedy than losing a child, an unbearable loss. As a young child, he experienced a profound pain that has forever etched itself in his memory, serving as a haunting reminder of both the loss and the fragility of life itself. Even after many years, his mother's death continued to weigh heavily in his heart. He vividly recalls the moment he placed flowers on a grave, overwhelmed by emotion and letting out a heart-wrenching cry that echoed his deep sorrow. A young boy should never have to bear the weight of such an overwhelming loss. It is heart-wrenching reality that seems impossible to fathom. My paternal grandfather, Tommaso, was a shoemaker, and my grandmother, Maria, was a peasant, although my grandmother Maria passed away before I was born. I was told that she was very kind, selfless, and generous. My grandmother Maria was exceptionally tall, at 6 feet, a rare height for women in southern Italy. My father too was tall, a tall man standing at 6 feet, a trait that had been passed down to me and my sibling. We often joke that our height are unusual since Italians are usually thought to be shorter. It is a tragedy that my grandfather Tommaso lost his life to brain cancer at just 41 years old in 1933. This devastating loss struck my father when he was merely 9 years old, leaving him to bear the immense weight of sorrow at such a tender age. Without Tommaso, the family was left to navigate the challenges of life in a poor environment where necessity like electricity and running water were luxury that were beyond their reach. They made the best of it. As the only son, my father had no choice but to step up and take charge of supporting his sisters. My cousin Giuseppe remembers my dad's house, which was one large room and the kitchen was located outside. My father's journey began with his service in the Carabinieri, Italy's military police force. The name Carabinieri itself traces back to French roots, referring to troops armed with carbines, long gun that require skill and precision. These dedicated men and women were known for their unwavering commitment and earned deep respect within the community. After leaving the Carabinieri, my father transitioned into a career of a fighter, a role that showcased his bravery and dedication to helping others. He later became a truck driver and eventually a bus driver, where he met my mother. He was not only deeply respected but also profoundly loved by those around him. My father had this incredible coolness and charisma that drew people in. I inherited my dad's wonderful sense of humor, which was evident in a memorable scene from The Godfather. In that scene, Marlon Brando famously puts a cut up orange in his mouth to mimic it and terrify his grandson. My father decided to create this prank and scare my kids just as Brando had done. My father's striking, good-looking largely influenced my grandmother's approval of their marriage. In 1953, they tied the knot, with my mother just 19 and my father 29. My mother never wore a stitch of makeup, and her natural beauty was undeniable. During our time in America, my oldest brother and father bravely approached a house nestled on 7 sprawling acres in Scarsdale, New York, and knocked on the door. With my father struggling to speak any English, my brother seized the opportunity, driven by his ambition to earn money. He confidently asked the older couple, who answered, "Would you like a skilled landscaper and gardener to maintain your beautiful property?" To their surprise, they immediately saw the value in his proposition, and hired them on the spot. My father dedicated himself to caring for the entire estate, even transforming part of the land into vegetable garden filled with tomatoes and cucumbers. This brave decision not only landed him a job but also ensured his stability for many years, allowing him to provide for his family. He dedicated himself to being a greenskeeper at Saxonwood Golf Course, and I can still picture the barrels of golf balls in our basement. I loved bouncing those balls everywhere. he cherished my daughter above his other 10 grandchildren. In a moment of privacy, he could confide in me, saying, "Your daughter is most beautiful of them all. The others simply can't compare." I didn't take offense to his words. After all, I know my kids are gorgeous. My dad often shared with me how much he disliked my sister because she was not very kind and respectful to him. When she was just 7 years old, she told our parents, "One day I'm going to own a big house like that." She did achieve a dream of accumulating a lot of money, but unfortunately she has a very unkind black heart. My sister frequently insisted that Dad was crazy, but I found it hard to take her seriously. After all, she seldom had anything nice to say about anyone. My dad was a cherished member of an Italian club, Alessandro Manzoni. He actively played poker and bocce-ball, a game he enjoyed sharing with me. He loved smoking a lot of cigarettes, drinking a lot of espresso coffee, and took pride in making his own wine. Every time he came home, he brought baby Ruth bars for my sibling and me. These small yet meaningful moments stay in my memory, highlighting the thoughtful man he could be. Why my dad was a significant presence, it was my short mother who truly dominated a dynamic. A relentless mockery and bossy nature turned his life into a constant struggle. I vividly remember witnessing my father defend her honor at a wedding, throwing a punch at a man who dared to disrespect her. There was even a moment when he struck a dog in the nose to silence his continual barking. My father was a man you definitely didn't want to cross. His temper could flare up in an instant, going from calm to furious before you even knew it. In the later years of his life, my father found himself wheelchair bound, a situation that significantly impacted both his spirit and temperament. The physical limitation left him feeling frustrated and helpless, and he often redirected that frustration toward my mother. He would unleash his intense feeling of resentment and animosity, particularly toward his in-laws, whom I viewed as deeply unpleasant people. My grandfather, my mother's father, was a foreman at a local construction company. He extended a job offered my father, hoping to provide him with an opportunity to regain some independence and dignity. However, my grandfather treated my father no different than other workers on the side. There was no preferential treatment, no special accommodations, just the same hard labor intensive work expected for everyone. To my father, this perceived lack of favoritism felt disrespectful, leading to a growing of unyielding bitterness. He felt humiliated and disregarded, believing that his status as his son-in-law should have granted him some respect or leniencies. This resentment simmered for many years, becoming a heavy burden that weighed down his heart. As they turned into months and years, this bitterness strained his relationship with my mother and his children. His anger and dissatisfaction created a rift that, despite our attempt to bridge it, persisted until his death in 2004. leaving a complex legacy of love, pain, and unresolved grievances. Thank you, dear cousin, for giving me the opportunity, to share this beautiful, touching story of my beloved uncle Orlando Fabiano. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.